Keep your eye on Danny Ocean. He's the quiet guy in the middle of it all. He's the guy with the big idea. He's calling a summit meeting of his own, and it's going to be a summit to top them all. Now, all he needs are 11 men, like, say, 11 ex-paratroopers from his old outfit. And you'd be amazed where you can find an ex-paratrooper these days. You look in a bar, and there's Harmon playing alcoholic piano. Or you turn up DSM winner Josh in a fleet of trash trucks. Jimmy Foster is sure to be wherever there's the most of anything. A guy like Bergdorf's been playing some very long odds. And Mushy's sticking close to the money. But when Danny called, they came. And what they heard was a plan of independent initiative and individual enterprise to stir the spirit of every swinging citizen.
Lights!
How'd it come off?
Like a charm.
Same here. Fantastic.
Oh, Danny, what a prize you are. The only husband in the world who'd proposition his own wife.
Well, I married you once and it didn't work out too well, so what's wrong with a little hey-hey?
Get her out of here.
Hey, give me a little kiss.
Sound idea. It's constructive.
You wait right there and I'll be there in a minute.
I'll wait for you.
Hello, Sam. How are you?
Oh, same as always. I move, I breathe. I seem to feel the thrill of life along the keel.
You sound like a ferry boat.
I'm not a ferry boat. I'm a very manly sloop. Wherever I go, people stare at me in dumb admiration.
Yeah, what happens when they speak?
What's so funny?
I knew this color would come in handy one day.
Hey, Josh,
Yeah.
how do you get the stuff off?
But what I usually...
Hey, Nom.
Hey, Jeremy.
How are you?
I still feel sick.
That's weird.
Still, I mean, I say still, I mean, I'm sick.
I mean, I swear you're always sick. I swear. I don't know.
No, I mean, I'm actually physically sick, not just sick in the head.
Is that weather thing? Is that a weather thing for you? You get sick?
No, man, I think it's work. Enough about work. We're done about work.
Okay, cool. Yeah, let's move on from there. So, Nom, let me ask you a serious question here. Do you have 11 friends? Like, how many friends do you have, do you believe?
Hold on, let me pull out my phone, check on Facebook. I think I have like 400 friends officially, 300 followers on Twitter.
Oh, you're going to make me go this way, huh? Okay. How many real friends do you have? I swear to God, you bring up 400 again.
If it's Facebook
That's not real friends.
Everyone says so. When you have, it's official.
Okay,
it's official on Facebook.
No. If people like your, I'll say if they like something, maybe I'll consider them a real friend. But
you talking about close friends.
Close, real, I guess.
Real.
I can consider close, real friends
close, real friends
because they're real to you because they're close to you.
It's real to me, damn it. All right, so real and reality and close friends wise, I have a group of close friends. I would say probably about like. Everyone I have in high school, you and some other people, so about like 20-ish.
Okay.
20-ish, yeah.
Okay. I'm going to go
You would know if you see that on my Facebook, Jeremy.
I am your friend, and I do like almost everything you have because you drop my name in everything you post.
You damn right.
You took some of my friends to your friends.
This is true.
So, it all adapts.
People like me.
I guess so. I mean, you just have this aura about you of... Don't talk to me, but I want to talk to you still.
It's weird because it's like the fat, jolly Asian guy. I don't really understand how that works.
Either.
Anyway.
But okay, the reason I asked this is because the movie you picked, I think in general it's hard to get a group that big together to do something in general. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
When's the last time you got 11 people to go eat with you? 11 people to go on a trip together. Granted, you have done that. I see about 11 people. I have seen that.
It's like unfortunately, I got 12 teammates I got like 14 teammates that we had to do shows and meetings and stuff like that together.
And then your high school friends, like,
and thanks to my high school friends.
Yeah. So I guess for me, I don't have 11 friends I can just put together like a Justice League forum and just say, hey, let's go get something to eat. Like the max I ever got was like 5, maybe 6.
You had those birthdays where you had like 15 people and stuff like that come through.
That's true, but that was birthdays and not like on a norm.
I mean, you like guilted everybody. It's like, you don't come to my
I did not.
If you don't come to my birthday, I swear to God.
I did not.
You better eat Mexican. You better love it like anyone else.
I told everybody you were going to be there, and that's why they all came. Okay? You feel good about yourself?
Yeah, I do.
And yeah, you come last out of everybody every time my birthday party.
Hey, first off, my time and my clothes have got to coordinate.
Okay, so you picked Ocean 11. Why?
I did choose Ocean's 11. In fact, I chose Ocean's 11 because it is by far one of my top 3 movies. And unfortunately, when I say top 3 movies, I was talking about the 2001 one. But since I did really, really enjoy that Ocean's 11 movie, I had to go back and watch the original because I hadn't seen the original yet. And you know what's interesting too, and I'll ask you a question because I did talk to one of my 12 teammates that were at a show. Harry Baker Jr. Hello, sir. Because I had asked him because he had seen both the Ocean's movies too as well because he grew up. He's an older gentleman, but he grew up with the Rat Pack, so he watched the Rat Pack first. And, I asked him, I was like, hey, so, which one of the Ocean's movie was better to you? Like Ocean's 11, the Rat Pack, or Ocean's 11 with like George Clooney and Brad Pitt? And of course, kind of what I suspected he said, I don't even know how you can compare anything unless it's the Rat Pack, because that was by far the best Ocean's 11 movie that's ever been made out of the remakes. So it kind of goes with what I was thinking is just that there are very few remakes where you like where whichever one you watch first is the one that you generally stick with the most. And I was wondering if that was kind of the same with you.
Yeah, that comes with you can use that comparison to James Bond. Yeah. My favorite Bond was Pierce Brosnan because that's what I grew up with. He's my first Bond.
And everybody else would say like Sean Connery or something like that.
Exactly. Yeah.
No, I could definitely understand that.
Yeah, but Ocean 11 though, it drives my curiosity because I really want to look at. It's really the most important is the chemistry, how they flow off of each other.
Yeah, and I think that's the biggest thing, right? Because it's so smooth and so back and forth, whatever. Like the 2000 version, the one that we talk about in general, that these guys are just really good friends, regardless of whether they work. They only just catch up with each other every time they work. So they just knew their chemistry and they knew how each other worked. And so I like the way they had that set up, but I also like the fact that it just had a very like chill, very cool, very hip kind of vibe to it. So
you want to talk about the?
I was gonna say, going in that, I know at the top of the hour, I say the hour because I act like I'm in the TV show, but I'm not. But on the top of the program,
is that one of your top 11 things you like to say?
Us one.
Okay.
But that's not it.
Here comes the top. No, just kidding. I was going to say, here's the top 10.
And here's the top 10.
Okay, go on.
No, the top of the program, you guys got a chance to hear about the trailer, or got to hear the trailer, and you can also watch the trailer in itself on YouTube or any of the Google things that you decide to go. And I
will have it posted on our Twitter and our Facebook. Make sure you look up the In-Game Boss program.
Shameless plug.
Yes.
But you guys can check out the trailer, and we got a chance to kind of watch it too as well. And give our first.
I'm your 11th friend.
Yeah.
You got to have one of me in there.
Yeah, you're right. You're Don
I'll let
Cheadle.
the viewers figure out what that is, what that means.
Don Cheadle.
Yeah. Anyways.
Anyway, so we got a chance to watch the trailer, and what my first impressions of the trailer is that it is as stylistically cool as what you would think it's supposed to be, as the remake had done with George Clooney and Brad Pitt. I never really followed the Rat Pack that much, mostly because I know I was a kid of like the 80s and the 90s, mostly the 90s. But you know, I was very like sheltered culturally, so I didn't really get out of my shell of like learning about different musicians and people until I got a little older. So the Rat Pack, being able to see them, knowing that their reputation of being like the coolest of cool, Dean Martin,
Frank
Sinatra, and all them, you know, you have to have a stylish movie. You have to be kind of a cool movie, and it's just a cool heist feel to it. So I think just from the trailer in itself, a lot of that stuff resonated towards me. So I am excited to see this movie. How about you?
The trailer was set up like a celebration with a countdown feel to me. So like, you know, it had a 3, 2, 1, and like, let's start the party. And then this is where you start seeing all these 11 people start kind of shuffling around. They did focus really on the Rat Pack. So the other, you know, 8 are just kind of there.
Side characters.
Yeah, they're just there rolling around.
Side characters.
And so it's interesting because I would have loved to see each one person at least have a funny line or a cool line to say, but they really focused on the Rat Pack. But I did like the fact that these 3 guys are people that weren't in the acting world yet. Like Frank Sinatra to me was only known as a singer, so it's nice. It's interesting to see him as an actor. Because I can't think of any other movie he starred in my mind except for Ocean 11.
Okay.
And that's the same thing with the other Rat Packs. And so, and then I also like the fact that the funniest scene in the trailer was the truck scene when they were making this this kind of like a funny racial joke.
Yeah, the blackface thing.
The blackface joke, but it was clever. It wasn't too like, it wasn't offensive to me. I thought it was just a funny little joke.
Yeah, I thought so too. It's actually kind
of no PC,
which is interesting, and especially in the world that we got going on right now. It definitely wasn't that joke in itself. It definitely wasn't a product of its time. I think. Well, actually, I say that it wasn't a product of its time. It probably is, because everyone would be offended with stuff like that nowadays. But I agree with you. I think it's going to be really neat. I don't know much about the Rat Pack as far as like their acting chops, and I'd listen to their music, or I listen to Frank Sinatra's music a little bit more now than I did before. But it should be interesting to see how this holds up against the movie that I hold dear in my heart. So,
you ready to go watch it?
Yeah, I think we should watch it, and we'll talk about it.
Hey, this is Jeremy Evans, the man behind the In-Game Boss program, a network of gaming and other variety shows. But did you know I do my own show? Yeah, it's the In-Game Boss podcast, a show where I challenge not only you, but myself on fun subjects in the gaming culture with fun guests. So come by and be challenged. And welcome back. I'm Jeremy, along with Nam.
I'm Nam.
You're Nam. And you picked this movie, and I'm going to let you be the first one to kind of tell me how you feel about this.
So, yeah, I picked the movie, the 1960 version of Ocean's 11, mostly because, obviously, I really like the 2001 Ocean's 11. So what I will say about this is that should not have watched the 2001 version first.
Yes.
Before watching the 1960 version. And obviously you can't undo years and years of being able to watch the movie and just enjoying it. But it was definitely different, and it really messed up my viewing, the way I viewed the movie the first time around. I did watch it a little bit again, and it changed a bit. But for me, initially, watching it after watching the 2001 version with Brad Pitt and George Clooney, it wasn't what I was expecting, and it didn't. I don't know if it didn't resonate with me very well because it was made in the 1960s, but it wasn't as. I didn't enjoy it as much as I really enjoyed the 2001 version. What about you?
I think it was pretty boring. I think it took too long to get to the point. And this is not comparing to the 2000. Yeah, it's not compared to that one. It's just it took way too long to get all the characters to get all built up.
everybody was getting a shine, but didn't really have a good purpose behind the shine. You know, it feels like that you needed to know who these actors were before going into the movie more than finding out who these people were. Does that make sense, kind of?
Well, I mean, I think it felt like they were just leaning on the Rat Pack.
Yeah.
You know, they were leaning on Frank, Jimmy, and you know,
Sammy Davis Jr., which did not have a really big part as people thought that he did.
And Dean Martin too.
Yeah,
like I felt like they really leaned on the star power of the movie. Like the star power made the movie. That's how it felt to me, and I agree with you. The pacing wise, it was very, very slow,
and the payoff didn't do very well for me. I think the ending was the part that kind of came out of nowhere because I didn't. If you ever watch this movie, the ending is one of those things where like that's what they wanted to end it on. Like,
I mean, it was kind of an interesting though. I mean, I'll go before I get too much into the ending. I'll go back to the build up. You know, you really did spend a lot more time on the characters and just developing the characters and the plan in itself to actually do the heist, right? But I think the movie was 2 hours and 7 minutes. Was 2 hours and 7 minutes, and I think honestly, almost like an hour and like 20 minutes of the movie itself was just getting to know the characters and then planning the heist in itself. And you don't know, you don't really even, there really isn't a true motivation to the heist other than that they just wanted to get rich. Like the one guy that I think his name was Spiros, that was the one that came up with the idea. He just came up with the idea. Like that was his entire role.
Right.
He was from they had mentioned that he was from the planning division, and it was like he was from the planning division, but Danny and Jimmy are going to be the ones that plan the actual, like, what we do when we get there to the casinos. And I was just like, wow, I wish I could be that guy. I wish I could just sit there and be like, you know what I think we should do, Jeremy? A movie podcast.
Right.
You do the rest.
But isn't it interesting that we spent 2 hours this movie and yet there still wasn't enough character development to go on? Like no one was still not unique enough to really stand out. Like when I walk out of that finishing that movie, I couldn't tell you like who stand out to me that movie.
Yeah. Well, the only person that really we'll talk about who does actually stand out. I mean, Dean Martin to me stands out as Sam, just because you can kind of you feel his charisma inside the in the movie in itself, and I think he just kind of has a natural charisma. Yeah,
ever since that scene on the piano where he is kind of like having fun narrating what the phone call of I think it was Mr. Jimmy character of, I think it's Jimmy Foster, I want to say.
Yeah, the other backpack, Peter.
Yeah, he was really the bankroll of it all. He was, you know, with his mom helping him out and whatnot. But yeah, like he was Dean Martin's character Sam was the one that kind of, for me, carrying it. But then he kind of got dropped off halfway. Well, everybody got dropped off halfway that film.
Like it was cool because it was cool to a point. He kind of had that. They did the kind of like their performances. You got the performances from Sammy Davis Jr. and you got the performance from Dean Martin, which was great. The EO11 from Sammy Davis was wonderfully done, beautiful voice, you know. And
then didn't have that dancing I wanted in the trailer.
Yeah, and then you got the Dean Martin kicking the head.
Yeah, singing Sinatra's song.
But let me tell you something. He did it like 4 times in the movie.
Oh my gosh!
And after the first time, you were like, "Oh, that's really kind of, that's funny that he kind of just did his thing." And then after the third, the fourth, the fifth time, you're just kind of like, "Yeah."
Did you like the payoff that they did? When they were basically they went to each casino to plant this idea where they spray a certain kind of spray paint on the door, and then when we find out what the reveal was, did that excite you? It did not. It was more like,
You're talking about like just how they got everything ready to
I guess like the payoff did not satisfy me. It wasn't one of those it was worth the wait kind of thing.
So all right, to be fair, again, like I said, I feel that there's a recency bias to us because there's so much more to what we see nowadays. Like, you think of movies like Mission Impossible, you think of movies like Fast and the Furious, think of movies like Ocean's 11, where there's this like intricate, like it's like it seems impossible for us to get into like the the vault and then steal the money or impossible task for us to do something in particular, that when you go back into a movie like, say, back in the 1960s, the Ocean's 11, it's not as glamorous, I guess you would say, because we don't have it's not the same technology. But you have to think about it too in the weirdest way. They knock out the power, they get into the vault, like one person's watching the vault, and in some cases nobody's watching the vault at all. They're just like, we want you to sing for me.
I kind of disagree, because I feel like that it could have been written better. I think like they. The technology wasn't with me. It wasn't with me. I think they could have been clever ways. Like one of them could have like persuade like maybe like a beautiful woman to help open the vault or something. I don't know. I feel like that they could have been another way. There's 11 people. You're telling me 11 people can't think of a better idea how to do this and make the movie more entertaining?
As far as getting in, but I mean, like I said, you had to look back in those movies, and I can't sit there and tell that I was a connoisseur of the movies back in the 1960s and whatnot. But you have to look at those movies back then, and you have to tell me there was something that kind of like showed that there was like a special way of like being difficult, because everyone would seem like it was an impossible task, but I don't think it was very much. The movie was very focused on it was all right. So let me rephrase that. It was focused on the idea that you robbed 4 casinos, right, or 5 casinos,
give or take.
But it was more focused on the characters themselves. So, like, granted, there was no development. It was more focused on like the dialogue and the people. So, like the Ocean, or like Danny Ocean. Sam, Josh, Jimmy. It was focused on like just kind of like a dramatic aspect of things, like the people interaction. So I don't know if it necessarily was like, oh, this is an impossible task of trying to get the bank, that the actual getting into the bank, stealing the money. Like, I don't think they focused on that as much.
I think that's why I think it should have been written a little bit better. But anyways,
yeah, and to the point, going into I mean, I think there were some good things in the movie that I enjoyed. I enjoyed the dialogue. I think the dialogue was still pretty slick. Granted, I think for them back then, it's probably a little funnier for them then than it is for us. I think there are a few things that may not have aged well, but I think the dialogue was pretty slick. I mean, the Rat Pack are still, you can see why they're cool.
I mentioned in the movie I really like the casinos, and I wish we got more of a tour of those casinos a little bit more of. Yeah. Because I thought they looked really cool. I thought, like, man, some of those casinos look cooler than some of the stuff in the in other casino movies to me.
Yeah,
and
so it wasn't so clutter.
Yeah, right? It was just very clean, and it was very. I just like that old style look. But I wish, like, I kind of wish, like, some of these characters were betting on the table and doing something else on there. You know, a couple people got jobs there, but like that's it.
Yeah,
like it would have been cool to see more tour of Vegas instead of like, here it is, let's get it done and let's get out of here.
Yeah, well, and that was the thing too, right? Because after the heist itself, it just stretched. Like, that was a big problem with the movie for me. It was too long.
Yeah.
Right? It just stretched. Like, after the heist itself, you're just thinking to yourself, all right, cool, we got the heist, we're going to get away.
Those 11 people should have been set up 30 minutes into the movie.
Yeah. And get away. Then next there was a whole, like, another story arc about, like, Jimmy's mom's husband, or Jimmy's father-in-law.
And then that waste of time of Ocean's girl.
Oh,
that didn't really get built up.
His wife, Beatrice. Yeah, like, after you see her one time, really, and then she kind of leaves. So it was kind of you wish there was a little bit more, but I don't know. Like, the writing itself probably could have been better in my opinion. But
still smooth though.
Yeah, still smooth. But at the very beginning of the movie, we drew 3 categories that we're going to talk about. First category that we came up with was there parts of this movie that you would leave, like take a restroom break or just leave in general?
For me, it would probably be after the second time Sam Harmon played the song. I'm like, all right, I know where this is going. I know the song is going to be another 3 minutes, so let me just go ahead and go to the bathroom real quick or get some snacks. That's probably where my point is, because I'm pretty sure you're not going to miss anything huge.
Yeah, no, I don't blame you there, because I can definitely see the second part of him just singing it or just continuously doing it. I think the part when they were rehearsing it, like I wasn't sure that they were rehearsing it. I thought they were actually doing the job, but they were just rehearsing it, right? So like after the first two times that they set up, it just became repetitive. I mean, there was that part, and then there was the entire third act where like the Jimmy's father-in-law was trying to tell them and wanting 50% of whatever they took, etc. I don't know why that. I think it was just too long, and when it got there, I just didn't care for it all that much. I mean, those are for some scenes that I kind of felt. All right, so the second topic would be would Colin Farrell make a better villain in this movie?
No, I think there's not enough. No, I think sadly enough, I don't think anybody can be a villain here because there's not enough material, not enough time for you to do anything with it.
Oh, you think there's no villain there?
Yeah,
you know, it's funny that you brought up the fact that Colin Farrell doesn't really play villains in movies. The fact that I actually put this as one of my categories is because he just looks like a douchey guy.
Yes, yes.
He looks like he could play the perfect villain. Don't get me wrong. He played a villain in Fantastic Beasts, which ended up being Johnny Depp. But you know, I think Colin Farrell would have made this movie interesting.
Really?
Well, I think so. I think if they actually had him be like a gangster or something like that.
I feel like he'd be like a second hand to somebody, not a main one.
Part of the underworld. I feel like he could just be the underworld guy that just he's just like they robbed 4 casinos under my watch. I don't think so.
I don't know. He kind of has.
He doesn't have to be the Andy Garcia guy, but you know.
No, but he doesn't. Don't you think he has that face where it's like?
He looks like
don't
a douche.
hurt me, but I still want to boss you around.
You think like Horrible Bosses?
Yeah,
didn't he have like a comb over and Horrible Bosses?
Yeah. I just feel like he tries to act up, but when stuff hits the fan, it's more like, okay, I'm sorry, just take what you need.
Oh, you think that? No,
yeah,
I feel like an evil underboss or something like a gangster underboss would just.
I guess I'm thinking phone booth too much.
Yeah, maybe so. That or you think
I don't have a gun?
You're talking about the lackey where he plays a lackey, or where someone plays the lackey who's just like an overly angry lackey, like was his name Kylo Ren?
Yeah,
an overly angry lackey. Well, even that would be insane. I think he'd be kind of cool as, like I said, as an underboss that's just like these guys stole a casino instead of the dude having like a cancer attack, which I don't.
That was kind of unnecessary.
Which was a down because it was just like, I don't think cancer does that.
Right.
But, instead of doing a cancer attack, he could have just murdered the dude.
That's true.
I feel like if you added a douchey Colin Farrell, it would be a good movie.
Okay.
It would be a good movie. The last category is, what happens, the ever after. The ever after, what happens after the movie?
I think Santo would try to reach out to them to say, hey, I know this doesn't work out, but I think we could do another heist, so let's do another one.
So you think they get together and do another heist? What kind of heist do you think they'll do?
I think this time they would not do Vegas this time. Maybe they would go to like Atlantic City or something like that.
We're gonna try smaller guys.
Smaller guys. Let's start small, work our way up. Let's work our way up here.
You guys will work with Colin Farrell and go over there and still Jersey City.
No, I think it'd be one of those like he wants to help him out, but then he would try to take the most cut. He's one of those people that would try like get them to do all the work and then he just pays back, and then they would fool him, getting him screwed over, and that way the main character can get him away from his mom.
Oh, I gotcha.
Yeah, that whole circle. And then I guess that Danny Ocean's wife would come back into the picture again.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, I can definitely see that. And I don't know. In my world, for some reason, that you mentioned the fact that Cesar Romero, who is Duke Santos.
Yeah.
Cesar Romero, who is the Joker, if I'm not mistaken.
He is.
From the Adam West movies. But
good for him.
He laughs off. He becomes the Joker, and
is that what you want?
Yeah. That's what I would really want. But I mean, I think.
My God! Could you imagine a Suicide Squad like in that style?
I know exactly.
Like, this is how Suicide Squad started.
That's how.
Is that with 11 guys, and then they like, that would have been.
Cesar Romero becomes a really Jokerish kind of guy. He you remember how Jack Nicholson took the little the puff or whatever,
the
handkerchief and started wiping off what you thought was like real flesh color makeup.
His makeup. Yeah.
That's what Cesar Romero does in this movie.
Wait till they get a load of meat.
He starts taking the towel. He starts wiping off his face, and then you get the Joker look into his face, and he just starts laughing. Yeah. And then because. But it only happens whenever Danny Ocean feels really sad about everything because he failed, because it was his failure. He goes off. He finds out that Sam's sleeping with his wife now. He lost his wife. Danny commits suicide. That's how Danny commits suicide.
What is with you and everybody going to suicide mode every time stuff hits the fan?
Danny lost a homie. He commits suicide, and then
not Sam.
And then Sam sleeps with the wife. But you saw some tension there. You saw some sexual tension there.
Sam deserves the wife. I'll give him that.
And then Duke Santos starts wiping off like the makeup. It's like my master plan has come along. Like that's how I see it. So Rotten Tomatoes.
I was gonna say in the distance. You see Adam West.
Adam Wee.
Okay, I'm sorry. Go on.
No. Okay. Rotten Tomatoes gives it an audience score of 81 and a critic score of 52. Which way do you lean?
I'm a 52, hands on. I would actually make it 50 flat. I go halfway in it because I think the cast was fun, but because of how it took so long, half of it got boring, and the other half was just sad. Yeah. I'm a 50 on this.
Yeah, and I'm going to lean towards the critic score. And you know what's sad about it? Are you
sticking with your 52?
Yeah, I'm going to stick with the 52. You know
what 2% are you going to give up on what I say?
No, man.
Is it Colin Farrell? Are we still going on this? Okay.
I really actually like the idea that Danny Ocean commits suicide and Nick
See,
Santos.
That's the 2%. That's the 2%.
Santos wipes off the makeup and just comes off as the Joker.
If there was video, he's literally wiping his forehead every time he says it.
He's going to wipe it off. He's going to keep his little mustache. No, you're gonna wipe it off, and it's gonna be all white. It's gonna be kind of crazy. You know, actually, what's interesting about this movie is that it was actually originally done in black and white. This movie, released in black and white, was remastered in color.
I'm not surprised.
Yeah, right.
I'm not surprised because I'm pretty sure my father, he watches a lot of these films. That I wouldn't be surprised a lot of these get color.
You know, you should ask your pops about Ocean's 11, and then come back and tell us how that came about. But yeah, definitely a 52. I tell you what, though, we might go back and relook at this after we'll watch a couple more movies from the 1960s, just to kind of see if it's kind of like the same pace, the same feel.
Can I say I do like the poster?
Oh, the classic, right? It's like one you want to keep in your house.
Yeah, I do like the poster. I think that's the only thing that stands out to me.
You think that's the only thing that stands out?
Right, yeah.
I don't know. There's more to it, but a Rat Pack poster would be pretty cool just in general.
Yeah, I like that one.
Anyway, with that being said, I think we both agree critics score 52. Mm-hmm. So why don't you let everybody know where they can find us?
Well, you could definitely find us as part of the In-Game Boss program. A variety of gamings and other shows, and you can make sure you can always hear our shows on YouTube. And actually on YouTube, you can actually just search for the name, or you can go enter our In-Game Boss program. They'll both lead you to our page. You can also listen to us on Spotify, Podbean, and also I believe Apple Podcasts is on there too. So we're gonna put that in there, and hopefully
we're big time.
Right. We're gonna have looking at other stuff, maybe Stitcher and then Castbox. I've been hearing some good things about that, just trying to get our name out a little bit more and all that stuff. But leave a review. Tell us if we're doing great or if we're doing bad. If you're on YouTube, leave us a comment. Tell us what you think. Tell us that, what movies would you like to see us look into in the future of our show. Say if Nam can count to 11. Does he even like these 11 guys? He only probably I think he only likes like 4 of them. I think you like 4 of them.
I like Santos being the Joker.
Yeah, okay, we'll do 5.
So being the bad guy,
right? But Nam, you want to add anything before we wrap this?
No, I mean, please, by all means, any feedback will be awesome. Awesome. And actually, if you guys want to add on to our categories too, as well, just let us know on through email. And
any comments or any suggestions stuff, we will be happy to air it on the show. Just talk about that. Maybe in the future we'll have like questions to answer from all the movies we reviewed and kind of come back to them and answer those questions. If you got funny questions,
like a Q&A extra session with it.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
That'd be kind of fun.
Yeah, in the future we were talking about doing a live watch and to chat about that in the future too. So that's in productions.
Exactly. Well, you can always find me on the Twitter, and you can also find me on Instagram too as the Dream City Drifter.
Okay.
At the KN Tran.
And you can find me as RetroM07 on Twitter. But also don't forget that we are on Facebook and Twitter as the In-Game Boss Program. Make sure you type that whole thing out. And any other questions, you can always email me personally at the ingameoffice@gmail.com. And we will catch you, well, on our next episode.
Back to the Future. No. Simpsons did it.